In the bottom right, folks, in the teal and the blue there, they're for Dragon Feast Gaming. Just the champions of this year in general. It's Dark and herO. And in the upper left, looking to ascend once again for AlphaX, the GSL finalist from Season 3, Ragnarok, and his teammate, it's Zoun. Or Zoun, or Joan, or however you want to go and pronounce that one. But it's Dark playing Protoss. This will be interesting here. All right. Did they do that throughout the... Did they do that throughout the tournament? Jason, MKP, Marijuana King Prime? What do you mean by that? Oh, they did it just on Rascallion. Okay. Fair enough. So let's see what exactly Dark and herO have in store for the for us in this first game here of the second semifinals. They're going double Protoss. And what we don't get enough 2v2. I don't have a good enough understanding of the meta to know exactly what that will mean, but considering it's Dark's off race, I'm going to make the assumption. I would make the assumption that this is going to be for some sort of all-in. Now, one of the benefits of doing that on Rascallion in particular is both players can get their natural and do what we see happening right here. With the ramp, you can double wall off. And that means that, theoretically, Dark and herO, the DPG team, can be pretty greedy. As the probe will now fall, but okay, so double stalker opener coming in from herO, single stalker from Dark. So Dark's allowed to be a little greedier right now. He only needed one gateway to go do that. And well, herO, of course, he did drop 2 gateways down, so his warp gate's going to be a little slower. He's going to have more stalkers on the map, but I'm not sure how much that will matter because this is a game where Ragnarok and Zoun are looking to absolutely punish immediately the arrogance that is Dark playing Protoss. So we see a gateway on the map, pylon as well, Zoun adding in, this is going to be 3 gate, 4 gate, something like that. And it's going to be roaches across the map coming in from Ragnarok immediately. Not only is this punishing the arrogance of Dark, theoretically Dark is less schooled in how to defend perfectly. Okay, yeah, so it's gonna be Twilight coming out from herO. I think they're actually, well, from both of them. So this is theoretically gonna be a double blink all in. Coming in from the DPG squad here in game number 1, but I don't think they're gonna be allowed to get there. Blink is still pretty damn far off. Dark's a little bit faster, of course, but the stalkers, the lings, the roaches, they're just gonna try to bust this wall down. There's only one shield battery here. More are on the way, of course, but they're not gonna be ready in time, at least not for the first push. So the stalkers on the low ground. Shield battery falls down immediately. Ling's got a big surround there on the stalker. They're in immediately on into the natural, and now this is just I think this is just a dead DPG. The pylons will fall. And then what the hell are you supposed to do here? Lings get on top of the stalkers. The probes have been pulled, but the probes, they're just dying. They're not doing all that much. This is not next patch where the probes are a little bit more powerful. And even if it was, I'm not sure how much it really matters. Another shield battery goes down. Stalkers continue to fall. And, well, Zoun is progressing out of this. He's getting a Twilight, but I don't think he needs to. I think the play is just to win the game. Very simple decision there. This one Ravager is just getting hugged around by Zoun. And, well, Ragnarok's a very happy man. DPG is dead, folks. Game 1 was interesting, but very quickly goes the way of AlphaX. Maybe we won't see Protoss from Dark in game 2. In the upper left, folks, in the blue and the teal, down 1 game because they decided to play double Protoss. Well, it is... Oh, well, we already did that. Okay, it's Dark here on the bottom right. In the blue, or in the red and the orange, it's a Ragnarok. Leave Brood War. This game is kind of, it's not from a replay, but it's from a clean feed. So yes, the games replayed this morning is we got a bit of a cannon rush getting started in our second game, and Zoun, well, herO is someone you will almost never see go for a cannon rush, but Zoun absolutely will. He's a dirty little Protoss like that. So he's getting the cannons up here, and what we'll see a lot when you have these 2v2 games, you'll have one player, they'll get aggressive. The other player is not, and Ragnarok has gone hatch first. You got to pull behind this. And the whole point behind this is one cannon does get up here, and hero's a little slow pulling his probes away, so he will lose too. When this happens, this means that both players have to respond to the cannon rush because it threatens both the Zerg and the Protoss. And then, well, Ragnarok can be super greedy behind things. Hey, Corn Muscles, how's it going? I'm so sad. I spent really the last week or so doing a lot of production improvements. It's funny, I'm not the only one. Tree has spent a while rebuilding his own overlays. But anyway, high ground vision now will go down because of the Zealot, because of the Lings. And this cannon's not nearly as impactful as it once was, but the big value that Ragnarok, or that Zoun found, I guess, here, and Ragnarok's going to have to drag him into the mid game kicking and screaming because of this, is, well, Dark and herO had to commit pretty significantly, both of them, on drone pull, on other things, to make sure that they found the defense. So now that that is done, Zoun is a little bit behind, but should be able to catch up, playing a little bit greedy, because now Ragnarok, it's his job to set the tempo for the time being. But of course, herO, not too happy about having to pull probes like that one. He's got a proxy Stargate on the map, and, well, do we have any spores? I don't think so. Queens are good, sure, but herO's Oracle control is sparkling, effervescent, as it were. I just like the word effervescent, so we're gonna go with that. It's fantastic, and it does mean that you can do some pretty cool stuff. As for right now, there's Adept in a corner. Well, it will go down eventually. Good job there, but I don't even think it got a worker. Just a bit of a scout. But Oracle now getting chronoed out, coming in from herO. What does Dark have in store? He's got some Lings on the map, but for the most part, no. I was going to say for the most part, not doing all that much, but no. More and more Lings on the way, pumping them out to support.
이제 바로 됐다. 상대방도 저그도 그거 됐나? 많이
pumping them out to support the Oracle play that herO is going to be going for in this first game. He's got one Oracle, second one on the map, and now there's going to be a lot of pressure at the front. Baneling's morphing in here as well, but the Queens, they're already a bit of a wall. It's going to be hard for Dark to try to punch his way on through. And herO's Oracles, they don't do all that much, but now as the Banelings arrive, suddenly life is a little bit more complicated. So one Queen will now go down, but great SimCity here from Ragnarok. The Queen's defending the morphing. I want to say those are spines, but Banelings, they knock everything down, and it does not matter that the SimCity is fine because, well, Ragnarok has, he's got 26 drones, but, well, his opponent is his teammates get about to have a whole lot less. Only 11 probes on the map, and they're all damn low. One Baneling kills them all off. Lings in the main base, well, they're going to kill everything. Oracle joins the fray. This Queen's going to go down, and now there's no anti-air. So, I wish the Oracle would kill more workers, but the lack of anti-air, there's like one stalker here. Zoun is effectively out of this game. It's all down to, it really is all down to Ragnarok at this point, and his supply is doing well. He's got about 25 army supply. He's got 9 roaches. He's been able to redevelop his economy to some extent, but herO and Dark, they're both at that 50 supply mark. Zoun is not. Zoun will not be for quite a while as the Oracle tries to dive in, but doesn't really seem to have that much energy. Takes some damage, but, oh, okay, there's going to be a couple more drones. And herO just scouts the main, realizes that, yeah, there's nothing here. The Oracles, they're diving in once again. So Zoun is dead, folks. He's gonna try to do what he can, but he just does not have any money. Hey, Fly with Nick. Do you fly with those Oracles, Fly with Nick? Or do you, when you stream, do you teach people how to be flying? if you stream or produce content elsewhere. It's how to be fly with Nick. Oracle, anyways, into the main base of Ragnarok. Here in the States, gets a couple drones. Not really going to get all that much. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, very cool. I'm not much of a plane guy. It's actually kind of funny. My undergrad degree is in aerospace engineering, but focused on astronautics, so space stuff. And my grandfather used to be a pilot for American Airlines back in the 60s, back in the 70s. So when he found out that I was going to go get this aerospace engineering degree, he was super excited. He was like, I can talk planes with my grandson. And well, I do understand aerodynamics to some extent. High-speed aerodynamics was actually a super cool course. I'm not going to sit down and talk about the difference between a McDonnell Douglas 11 and ooh, was that an observer? I think that was an observer. But like between an MD-11 and a Boeing 747 or something. Like, honestly, you should be proud of me for pulling out like 2 names of planes out of my head. Although my favorite fact is, of course, the Sopwith Camel, which was a fame of Snoopy. Its fuel tank was used as armor. Was designed in his armor. As here it comes. God, if they could like fade that in, that'd be great. I just keep getting like afraid for my life when team voice comes in. But anyways, this pressure from Dark and herO, I don't know that it really will get stopped. Ragnarok supply is good. Zoun's is not. The Stalkers labeling forward, targeting the Ravagers down as they can. And well, whatever herO can't kill, Dark will. It's now a 1-1 tie here. Ragnarok and Zoun, they take too much damage early on. The bottom left, folks, in the blue and the teal, they're tied up at 1 apiece here. Thank you, observer. It's Dark and herO, but in the upper right-ish, in the orange and the red for Alpha. Oh, we're doing down to the bottom side. Production mishaps, I guess. Oh, and then we're in the top side now. We're not going to do intros on this one. You know who it is. It's fine. And now we got, hey, look at that. We got some player cams as well. Well, remember Fly with Nick, Zoun and Ragnarok, they took game 1 where Dark was playing Protoss. Who's Terran? No, Dark is playing Terran, yeah. So he played Protoss game 1, and now Dark is playing Terran, hero's playing Zerg. I don't know whether this is them trolling, or this is just them just genuinely thinking that for the maps that they're playing on, this is just the better way to play. But we're gonna have TZ versus ZZ as Zoun is playing. What is happening here? I'm so used to not even having to look at who's playing what, because it's just the same thing over and over again. This is ZZ versus TZ. What the hell is happening? They all chose. I didn't even. Oh, you know what? I bet that's why they showed the production. Showed the loading screens. I didn't notice that this was. I didn't notice that this was randomed. So Ragnarok got his main. No one else did. How good is herO's? Well, okay. Here's the thing, folks. Technically, Zerg is overpowered. So whichever race. Actually, I guess it evens out because both players. Wow.
아니 그래도 너보단 잘할 거 아니야. 너도 그보단 잘할 거.
Early. Generally, it's after 10 minutes. Let's see, both Protoss, which clearly, because Protoss is the worst race, if you win with it, therefore you're the best player. Both Protoss, they rolled the easiest race, and Zerg is, clearly Imba. So it balances out, and then, well, Ragnarok is playing his main race as Zerg, and Dark's playing Terran, and we all know that Terran is the hardest race to play. It takes the most skill, even the most skill to balance wine. So altogether, this has got to be an AlphaX favor here. The most skillful players, of course, they're playing Zerg. Rainer from Swamp Spaghetti, you got this? Excellent. But okay, it's going to be a bit of an all-in coming in. Well, yeah, it's going to be a bit of an all-in coming in from here right now. Pumping a decent amount of lings. Baneling Nest is going to be done right around that 330 mark. Generally, when speed is done. And you know what? Mass Ling Bane versus Double Zerg can be pretty powerful, especially if Dark can follow up with it as well. But even as this map is maybe a little bit smaller, there's a big gap in the middle. So any sort of Terran pressure for the most part, not going to work super well. Although, as I say that, I'm trying to fly with Nick. I'm trying to paraphrase Uppetry here. He had a great way of describing it when we did the pylon show in Atlanta. But I'm not quite as skilled as whining about Terrans, or whining about how whiny Terrans are as Uppetry is. Anyway, but here comes the pressure from Dark and herO right now, and technically Dogs and Cars was the meta. These type of Ling Bane Hellion all-ins was the meta of 2v2 for quite a while. So the Banelings, they're getting targeted down pretty damn well, but the Ling's knocking down so many of the Queens of Ragnarok early on, and the Hellions, they're lining up shots on the Lings as well. So Dark and herO, they punch through round 1. But they don't get through just yet, as now an Overlord from Ragnarok will fall here as well, fighting himself, getting closer and closer to supply blocked. And here come the Lings once again, trying to get shots on, well, Ragnarok's Banelings that are morphing in, but he's not going to knock those down just yet. Lings actually get big surrounds here, big Baneling shots as well, and they're going to trade Banelings for Banelings, but still, one Baneling remains for here at this point, and the Queens continue to fall down. Baneling connection on the top side gets a lot more of these Lings. The Hellions, they're pretty much uncontested for the most part. They're still there. They haven't taken that much damage, and this, you feel, has got to be a good situation for our teal team. herO, yeah, 45 army, 45 supply, but so too is Ragnarok. And they're punching into the natural even better. Now the army, or now the economy, is starting to go down a little bit. And those Baneling connections were fantastic. The big deal, though, more so than anyone else, as now we have more Hellions joining the fray, is the fact that the Queens continue to fall. And as the Queen fall, this means that Ragnarok can, even if he had the money, he can't reproduce. He doesn't have these strong, solid defensive units. He doesn't have anything to allow him to inject larva. And the Manor Mules there coming in from Dark at this point. GG. It's a 2-1 lead in the all-random game, and Ragnarok even rolled his main race. DPG just too good. In the bottom left, in the dark blue and the teal, it's the Zerg and the Protoss for DPG, Dark and herO. And in the upper right, well, in the bit flamier of colors, so Ragnarok and Zoun. I do too, External Punch. It's been a long time since Dark was truly the evil Zerg, but I guess he's just morphing into evil Terran. Dropping Manor Mules on his opponent when they all randomed. Horrible. Who would do such a thing? Can you imagine that there's just the sheer level of cruelty? So that Dark and herO, they're both playing their main races. Does this mean we're gonna see that 3-1, or does Ragnarok and Zoun have something in store for us? Oh, look at this. So that is where are we at? herO's just being obnoxious. He's blocking, like, he's not stealing the gas, but he's blocking the gas. Because if there's a unit like right within the bounding box of where you want gas to go down, you actually cannot place it. It's one of the ways that a Terran with their Reaper harass early on can get themselves a free drone sometimes. We actually have just started to see Zergs just maybe even take bases a little earlier to deal with that one for the most part, because a failure to get your third base it can really set you back quite a ways. So be as that may be, though, for right now, hey, herO was just a little bit annoying, but what are they going to go for? I mean, Twilight Opener coming in from herO. This can be Glaives. This can be a lot of things. I don't really have the greatest understanding right of that 2v2 meta. But Baneling is coming down from Dark, and I think this makes sense in this mirror matchup. There's so much pressure you can put down that you really want to make sure you're safe, or this is just going to be aggression. coming in from Dark at the moment, as they will knock down the Scouting Overlord from Ragnarok and put him capped up a little bit, but Ragnarok's going for a quick lair this game. We've seen some Swarm Host Nidus attempted in the Celaviera series, and it didn't work out super well for Atlas. Is that what we're going to go for, or is this just going to be like a 2-base speed roach timing, maybe with Blink? That also seems like a possibility. If that's the case, I think I technically prefer the Blinkling Bane versus Blink Roach. Maybe? No, I think it's kind of funny, right? So Lings counter Stalkers, but Stalkers counter Roaches for the most part. So yeah, but there we go. Okay. It will be Nidus on the way for Ragnarok, and that will time out pretty damn well with a Blink coming in from Zoun as well. So this will be aggression coming in from the AlphaX squad in this game number 4. But the big deal, of course, is that there's no Robo. There's no Warp Prism. There's no nice, easy way to reinforce as the Protoss. In an odd change of fates, we're seeing this double Allin, and instead of the Protoss being the player that, or the Zerg being the player that has to run across the map, it's going to be the Protoss's. Ooh, big recall there, but we're going to see one Stalker fall immediately. Nice surround from herO and Dark, and they're going to get the Overlord as well. So, well, the Nidus is complete. And Blink is just about done. So where does this go? This feels like a game that is kind of incomplete almost. Where we need to see something on the map, a gateway, a pylon and a gateway or something. But it seems like a bit imbalanced right now, as now we're seeing spines go down. Dark and herO have an idea of what exactly is happening. That is not going to be a scout, though. Those are the Stalkers coming in from Zoun. So the pressure now getting started in earnest. Overlord from Dark falls down, but he's still got a little bit of cap, and now the Nidus is spawned. A second Nidus on the way right in front of things. Spines are not ready just yet, but the Stalkers can run forward, and they can find some level of value. We will see the Adept fall at the start, but the big thing here is the amount of tech that's in the wall. The Baneling Nest, the Roach Warren. Those are things that Dark definitely wants to keep alive, and in fact, I think we will see him. He's going to have to start remaking these if he has not already. So losing the wall is honestly not the worst thing. It means the army of herO and Dark can maybe fight a little bit easier. But losing the Roach Warren is really not what you want, because you need the Roaches to be able to go and kind of contest. Oh, herO, kill that Nidus. There we go. Now Nidus is dead. You kind of want Roaches to contest Roaches. Right now, the Lings and the Banes of Dark, they just don't fight this army of AlphaX all that easily. They're going to get a surround, sir, and maybe they can hold things in place, but Banelings don't do much of anything. And, well, Lings don't fight Roaches tremendously well, at least not on the upgrades that we're looking at. But herO's got something in that Warp Prism as the Stalkers now move forward. They pair a Roach off, but it's going to be Quad Adept in the main base. I really like this. So it's going to be 2 dropping off in this base, and then 2 more Adepts are going to get dropped off in the main base of Ragnarok. So double harass, doing damage. You know, though, is it better to do a little bit of damage to both players, or is it better to do a ton of damage to one player? I would argue the latter, to be honest, but the Adepts seem like they got something. Ragnarok and Zoun, their economy, honestly, not the best. 48 for Zoun, 38 for Ragnarok. Well, I guess Dark and herO, they're not incredible either, but they were on 2 bases for a good majority of this game anyways. And that is often how 2v2s can go. We can talk all we want about one player getting aggressive to allow the other player to play macro, but often we see these players that they don't really feel like they can be as greedy as they would normally like. So instead of settling down onto 60 to 70 workers, it settles in at 45, 50, because everyone in the game feels kind of trapped in this I gotta build units to stay alive type of idea. But 5 DTs warfing in, and we have DT Blink as well. herO, ooh, this is gonna be this is gonna be fun here. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. As now Ling sense an opportunity, looking for a surround on the Stalkers. There's no shield battery, but you got to be careful because the Roach is coming in from the left side. But which fight do you want to take here? Stalkers Blink on top, trapping all the Stalkers of Zoun. So he's going to have to take this fight before anything happens. And the Ravagers on the north side, well, they're going to find a lot of value. DTs in the main base as well, starting to kill more and more and more of the workers. And the Biles, actually, they seem to have landed very, very well. This Concave coming in from herO and Dark is doing absolute wonders. DTs in the natural, or what's that? The natural of Zoun. They're killing off everything. And, well, here we go. herO and Dark have won the fight at the front. And, well, DTs are just knocking down the economy pretty damn hard of Zoun and Ragnarok. We can see Ragnarok head to the side. This game's over. Dark and herO up 3-1. Bottom right, folks, they're up 3-1 now. Can they make it 4? It is Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark and herO. And the upper left in the red and the orange, down 2 maps in the series. It's Ragnarok and Zoun from AlphaX. Yes, Abgibert, it is a best of 7. The grand finals tomorrow will be a best of 9, and that sounds like fun. Well, 1832, there's no guarantee that Ragnarok and Zoun can't make a comeback. Right. Well, video. Don't spoil yourself, 1832. You'll wager some channel points to Cyril and Oliveira. Well, yeah, because we cast that and we saw it happen. It doesn't count, folks. External punch. You can't cheat like that. I'm not here for it. I don't support this tomfoolery, this shenaniganry. Ah, thank you for the reminder, your brother Chris. Emperor Fooble, they're talking about the previous series we just cast, though. But okay, yeah, as we say, proxy pilot on the map from where's the proxy pylon? Someone said proxy pylon. I don't see. Well, okay, herO kind of put a proxy pylon in Zoun's main base. No, those were adepts. Where's this proxy pylon that people are talking about? I see nothing. I've been lied to by Twitch chat. How dare I? How dare you all? Unless I am absolutely totally blind. What do we got here coming in our 6th game of this series? Baneliness is done for Ragnarok, pumping out yet more lings, and well, it seems like this is going to be a series of all-ins. We've seen that for a while, and now there's a proxy pylon on the map from herO. Ah, okay. People lying on the internet? How exactly uncertainty? I don't get it. But this will be a proxy pylon coming out from herO and Dark, and well, it's a bunch of adepts into Baneling's already on the map and a spine as well. I don't know that Ragnarok and Zoun are really going to be able to, or that herO and Dark are really going to be able to make this work, but they're going to try. Baneling's now running forward, trying to get on. Oh, that was almost massive, and it actually ends up not being all that great after all. All the Banelings, they're triggered, and well, it took all of them to kill the Lings, so these adepts, they've all fallen down. Ling's the main base, of course, but this was immediate. A great hold coming in from Ragnarok and Zoun. Yeah, they have Lings that they got to clean up, but the brunt of the power is all gone. Oh, wait. Did that Baneling morph in the mineral line? I think it might have. But, man, sometimes you manually detonate your Baneling just a little bit too slow, and you don't get much of anything, and well, you get them all. But adepts in the main base will start to find a little bit more. Ragnarok, though, 32 workers, 30 on Zoun. And Dark and herO, they're on 23 each, by the way. They are very all in, so they have to get a lot more done this one, as the Adept Shade will complete. No, they won't. Never mind. Staying in the main base right now, like chased down by Queens. And herO, okay, so he does have a Stargate. And he is committing to something out past. This is getting an Oracle on the way. And this is just all dedicated towards... Wait, is that his... Oh, sorry. herO's been building Oracles this entire time. Excuse me. He's on 2. Third one on the way. Actually, that's... Did he proxy the Stargate at the front? I think he might have. That's actually kind of cool, but I don't know that it's going to be doing enough here. Zoun and Ragnarok, just as of yet, they haven't taken enough damage, and it really does feel like they have stabilized. Oh, no, okay, Stargate was in the main. My inability to press the production tab and see where things are is really showing right now. But that's a bit better of a Baneling connection on the Lings, but the Concave with the Spine and the Queens and the Stalkers, and even Sentries, if you need to make sure that the Banelings don't find a mineral line, is making it downright impossible for Dark and herO to really do what they want. So, well, Dark is droning out of this one. He's on 3 bases. We've seen him build a couple extra drones up to 30, but herO's only on 1 base. He's adding a Twilight, probably going to be for DTs, but as long as Ragnarok and Zoun are able to make sure that they defend properly, and it's not easy, certainly. As long as they defend properly, this does feel like they're going to be able to take the game. But for now, we got to pause. Yeah, this whole game is happening in their base. The other thing, of course, they don't seem to have unit intensity turned up super high on the game settings. And that means it's very hard to see what's happening. Yeah, really uncertainty. What you need to do, there's a unit... There's a color density slider, unit intensity slider in settings, and you want to turn that all the way up to 11. And that makes it not possible or not perfect, but a much easier to understand. Let's skip forward just a little bit. So it seems like the lag has cleared up. And how are Dark and herO gonna find their way back into this, right? Like, that's really the question. Yeah, herO's got triple Oracle, and that's something. He's got his natural on the way, I guess. Halfway done. He's building Blink. But I don't know if that's really going to be enough. I mean, the Adepts get a Sentry. That's
야, 서로
decent.
던졌다. 가자.
Oh,
가자.
I turned it up because they didn't have anything. I immediately get team voice from Ragnarok and Zoun. But here comes the pressure from Ragnarok and Zoun. The immediate punish. They've held on long enough. And now let's see if that's going to make enough happen. No, Lings get a pretty decent surround, trying to dodge the Banelings as well as they can. But at the end of the day, the Banelings all go down, and now Ragnarok and Zoun getting a surround on everything. The Lings, well, they're just killing everything. Stalkers actually blink forward to kill off all the Banes, and that means the Lings here of Ragnarok are going to be that much more impactful, knocking down the Stalkers of herO, knocking down the Queens of Dark, and, well, apparently we had both team voices for a second. Regardless, there's not a lot that herO and Dark can do anymore. Their economy is in shambles. Their tech is in shambles. Everything is in shambles. Baneling's even into the natural of herO that he's not. Yeah, they're not even going to kill that. It's not worth killing. And that's going to be 3-2 again, folks. Looks like at the very least, we're going to have a 4-2 once again as we move into Catalyst for game number 6. Bottom right, folks, on Serious Point, looking for a date with Celivier in the finals in the blue and the teal for DPG. Their names are herO. And in the upper left, in the red and the orange for AlphaX, looking to tie us up, take us to game 7, Ragnarok and Zoun. Yeah, I mean, External Punch. Honestly, I think a big portion of that, Red Bull was the one tournament organizer willing to do different things. Did I just say their names are herO instead of herO and Dark? Oops. Red Bull was the one TO that was really willing to try a bunch of new stuff. And wow, I'm getting thank you, chat. And by the way, Uncertainty, thank you so much for the follow. But they were the one TO really willing to mess around with different formats. They had the global challenge where they brought everyone out to the studio in Santa Monica and had them play games for days until they figured out what was in this round robin picker format. Everyone had 3 lives. They ran an Archon mode tournament. But unfortunately, with WCS freezing Red Bull out by not giving them any WCS tournaments, we lost Red Bull from the StarCraft scene. And if that was the case, no longer there were Battleground. The Battlegrounds tournament series died. And if there was ever going to be something that would allow Archon mode to work and start to develop, it would have been Red Bull's Battleground series, probably. So by losing Red Bull as a TO, as this innovative TO, and really, you had DreamHack running WCS events, you had ESL running DreamHack events back when they were separate entities. We didn't have the innovation in the space that we probably could have used. Yeah, no, Emperor Fuble, that is one of my biggest hopes and dreams about Stormgate coming out, is that, yes, a lot of the devs that made StarCraft Legacy, or made Legacy of the Void, they work at Frost Giant, but the leadership's different. And my big hope is that Red Bull comes back and starts running Battlegrounds events again. They were by far my favorite tournament series. I went to Red Bull Battlegrounds DC back in 2014, and I mean, people will still say that's one of the top 5 lands of all time. Back in the Lincoln Theater in DC. There's everything about them. Apparently they treated talent really nice too, which, you know, as now a caster now, I like that, but they put on the best tournaments. It was the most fun. Look at this, DT opener coming in from herO, Dark going for Lingbane. So we're gonna see a heightened aggression coming in from our Blue Teal team, our DPG team. Sorry, from the herO team. You're welcome. In this game, and Baneling Nest on the way for Ragnarok, but this is a very quick lair once again. Not quite as quick as we've seen it, so not like the Serral 4 minutes and Spire's halfway done type of lair, but even still. That does mean that there will at least be some detection deal with these DTs, but I'm more worried about just the big punch. Roaches, Lings, Banes, and DTs, maybe even Archon. Ooh. Maybe just do that for Archons. A couple Archons at the front to tank things as Roaches and Banes join the fray. That's a very difficult thing to micro against. Raynor may still be sponsored by Red Bull. X Turtle Punch, but the big deal, of course, is they're not running tournaments. They ran the Red Bull Zelnaga's Finest or whatever it was, the bracket that the winner would play Raynor, but at this point, I don't blame TOs for not coming back into the StarCraft space. But anyways, okay, there we go. Lair is on the way, or Spire is on the way, about 440. But oh, okay, it's not going to be Archons. It's going to be Blink DTs and Blink Stalkers. Really weird coming in from herO, but we take it. And it's going to be a Carapace timing from Dark as well. So it seems like first round of pressure is just going to be a couple DTs as the Stalkers see that up, looking for the body block. Banelings they manually target. They will all detonate, and finally there will be detection somewhere. Was there an observer maybe? It's got to be an observer that was just off screen. Regardless, the DT doesn't find much, but still 75 gas of Banelings and more than that in minerals. Not bad. And that was just the start, because DT Blink is just about done. Blink is just about done. And with this Carapace timing, this may be... very curious to see how this is going to work. Yeah, my girlfriend's the same way, External Punch. I don't know. People say things, I'm like, man, do I have ADHD? Like, I don't feel like caffeine affects me all that much. But it always seems like it's the thing where a lot of ADHD symptoms are just, everyone kind of experiences this at some point in their lives, but it's just more so and ever constant. No, Raynor's a good guy. And he actually is driving from, I think he just finished his drive. He's driving from his place in Italy to stay with Roddy to train for Katowice for like the next month or so. So he just finished that drive. Should have finished that drive. But anyways, I thought this was going to be a big bit of pressure coming in from Dark and herO, but it seems like from what they've scouted, not as interested anymore. And the meter's now across the map. Going to find this fourth base, coming in from Dark. And where's our anti-air? Stalkers are here, and Blink is done. But there's a lot of really split pressure coming in from the Stalkers on the left side. So what we need to see is Dark defending the left side against the Blink Stalkers, and herO defending the right side, or defending against the Mutos, really. But this build that we have right now from Zoun and Ragnarok, it's so much map control. It's so much mobility on the map. Mutos can be everywhere. Stalkers can be everywhere, and it's really hard to defend against this. A lot more power is on the active player on the map than the players that are trying to be passive. So for now, Mutas, they get a couple drones. Queens are in a good position, though, for the moment. And there's a spore. At least there's a spore in every base, and that is something. Mutas could... I'm somewhat surprised to not see them try to target the Hydra Den down, but I guess money is more important. DTs try to find their way in, blink onto the high ground, because, hey, there's the detection from Dark. Overseer in detector mode, but there are cannons in the mineral line, so it doesn't get all that much done. A Muta will fall, though, and it seems like that'll be that. And these... Oh, bad timing. The DT's dead. Crepuscular, well, anyway, so we got to talk of the Stalkers, or Mutas try to move forward, but the Stalkers blink right on top of it. And with the Lings and the Roaches and the Hydras here, this is just a really powerful army against what we see coming in. But Disruptor shot 1 gets 2 Roaches. Shot 2 goes up, but the Stalkers blink on top of it. Shot 3 gets another Stalker, but it still does not feel like enough. And now herO and Dark starting to push a little bit further forward. Supplies in the lead. They're getting more and more Disruptors here, and you can't even fight backwards because the Hydras are so powerful on this backline. You effectively, you have so much Hydra-like units in these Stalkers and in the Hydras as Team Voice is turned on, which means we need to bring the sound down. And here comes the death push from Dark right now, and herO as well. Supply very far in the lead. 180 supply from Dark, 130 supply for herO versus just not enough for Ragnarok. Now, Banelings, they run forward, but the Stalkers, they blink back. Good splits for right now. Disruptor really does with for the most part. Banelings finally get some connections, but I'm not sure how much it matters at the end of the day. Another Hydra will fall, but the Disruptors do not find the value they're looking for. Mutas, though, they're starting to do a little bit better as the armies start to fall apart a little bit. The Stalkers are in smaller clumps because they blink backwards, but here comes the reinforcements from Dark. Disruptors, again, not going to find much of anything here, and the Hydras, they're standing strong. It's all about the Stalkers and the Chargeless on the high ground. For Ragnarok, for Zoun, try to make something happen, but it's 2 versus 1. The Mutas, they're looking for reinforcements as they can find them, but the Stalkers, they're coming by in enough numbers that I'm not even sure that's really going to happen. And yeah, Mutas at this point, they can't do anything. You can go harass. It's like 4 Mutas. And in fact, the best thing that they can do right now is they force herO back. They're forcing him to chase, or they're dragging DPG into this chase instead of just, well, ending the game. Because Dark at this point, not as big of a supply lead as he once had because he is transitioning. 2-2 on the way, Infestation Pit getting started, a 5th base. But they have their opponents pinned. And that really is the big deal right now. So Dark runs forward, and he can't fight. It's just a lot of Stalkers from Zoun. So he can't really fight this super easily. And hey, Lings get a pretty good surround there on the lone Hydra, but it's about the bulk of the army right now. Stalkers now blink forward, but of course herO has to be a little bit more careful about how he blinks because there are Disruptors on the backside, and Guardian Shield as well, plus 2 armor on the Stalkers does mean that they fight a whole lot better. So Ragnarok and Zoun are starting to fight their way back into this. It looked really bad from that pressure, that big push coming in, but they held on well enough. They got actually the Baneley connections were really the big deal there. As another set of Disruptors would go off and herO forced to back up. He wanted to blink forward, but too many Lings and Roaches and other things coming in from Ragnarok to prevent that from happening. But Ragnarok might get 2 bases here, sticking on the base, unsuccessful. But he does get the 5th base of Dark, so at least there's that. The Ling's looking to dive in once again, but Dark, he's got 2 levels here of defense, so that's really... Oh, nice body block on that. All the Lings will go down, or at least all enough to matter. Well done there from Dark, body blocking against the wall so the Lings can't run away. And now is this where you bring your army together? Oh, well. Mistakes. So let's see now whether this is going to be the push that Dark wants. He's maxed out. herO, though, his supply is not incredible. He's got 31 Stalkers, and it's actually kind of crazy. He's got 31 Stalkers and about 50 probes, and it's like, okay, well, Yeah, technically that adds up, but it feels like 31 Stalkers should be more. As herO, I think he might have even just been feeding Dark money to make this push happen, but Dark will lose his fourth base. The Mutas here from the damage that happened earlier, and Hydra's, they're mobile, kind of. Not nearly to the extent the Stalkers are, but ooh, the zoning here. herO is going to be able to find them, blink right on top of them. Maybe. But instead, Dark avoids it, and now, well, Dark's back onto 3 bases, building 2 hatches at a time. So really, we're looking at this game right now, where Ragnarok and Zoun are being so effective in their multi-prongs. They're doing such a good job of keeping Dark and herO back that, from a position that, quite honestly, looked terrifying. Dark did not, it felt like herO and Dark had more than enough to win the game. Suddenly, Ragnarok and Zoun, they're both just about maxed out. Dark has lost the big bulk of his economy, so even as he is, in fact, maxed out, his income is not quite as good as it would otherwise like to be, and, well, herO doesn't have a lot of tech. He's got Blink DTs and Blink Stalkers, sure, but he's not advancing into Disruptors, not moving really into anything like that. But now we're starting to move. The roaches of Dark at this point are not super useful, so they're counterattacking elsewhere. Onto this fourth base of Ragnarok. That should be a death of the base, although it seems like that will not happen. Yeah, everything runs in, but still great Bailey connections. Still great Bailey connections there for Dark, bleeding a bunch of them off. And herO should be in decent position to defend this, at least until the Disruptors join the fray. Decent splits for now, but okay, still not many shots going off, but that's now the blink that has been used. So now you got to be careful a little bit more as herO Stalker's starting to ravage his probe line just a little bit. Disruptors as well, and hey, Disruptor's fantastic against the lurker play that Dark has going for himself. Stalkers, blink to the right side. And now you have this army of Zoun that is maxed out, that is distracting, realistically, Dark and herO. So now that means that Ragnarok could counterattack on the left side, but now here comes Dark through the middle of the map, trying to unlock something on the map. Disruptors on the north side doesn't really seem like they're getting all that much done. So Dark now initiating a bit of a base trade against AlphaX, but on the same token, Zoun doing the same thing, but herO from the backside is going to get 1 Disruptor. Biles are not really going to land on really many of these lurkers whatsoever. They're all starting to fall down, or the lurkers are staying alive, excuse me. The army of Ragnarok down in an instant. Suddenly his supply is just about as bad as herO's is. herO blinks left, gets on top of the Disruptors. 1 taps down. Splits are okay, and it's a pretty damn fine concave coming in from herO as well. Dark gets a couple more bases, splits backwards, but the Hydras will now start to fall. The big DPS of that army is now dead. And where are the lurkers of Dark? It seems like most of them may have maybe gone down to herO, kiting back desperately, knocking down all the mutas. So that counterattack potential is a little bit gone, and the lurkers, okay, they're alive after all. 1 will fall, but herO loses another base, only on 71 supply. But Ragnarok really not in the greatest position either, especially as he continues to lose more bases, lose more army, lose more economy. These lurkers, they feel like they're the death knell here of Zoun and Ragnarok, because, well, yeah, herO's supply pretty poor. He's only got 24 probes. He's still got 50 army supply. But worse, Ragnarok's only on 30. Ragnarok is dead. Zoun, his army cannot lurker spines here as well. Zoun missed micro. He's losing all of his stalkers, and that's even worse. I was making this argument about how Zoun didn't really have the army to fight what Dark has. Well, he certainly does not now. So Disruptors, not really. They're actually, more than anything, they're just doing a little bit of damage to Zoun's building, which is not what you want as Stalkers. They blink left. 1 lurker will burrow up and not get that much done, and good splits for Dark at the moment. But again, Dark's maxed out. Zoun is not. Ragnarok is not. We see Ragnarok and Zoun kind of leaning back in their chairs a little bit, smiling. They're doing what they can. Dark's Hydra's being left for dead here. The Stalkers want to fight this. You do want to keep those Hydras alive, but even still, yeah, this is it. DPG, they take the victory in 16 minutes, and, well, I think this is expected, but that was a fantastic final game. Dark and herO moving on to face Salivera in a best-of-9 finals. Oh, that was a little loud. Sorry about that. Best-of-9 finals tomorrow, in fact.